Well, hey everyone, you're watching Wired Up Retro, episode number 92. And today I've got something pretty exciting to show you classic gamers. Those of you who've had an Intellivision over the years know about the pros and cons of the controller. And I'm going to get into that a little bit in this episode. But I've received something in the mail that I'm going to be opening up, and I'll do a little unboxing. This is a special controller in that it'll work maybe a little better on certain types of Intellivision games. So I've got my Intellivision 2 out right now, and I will show you the other Intellivisions that some of you may own. The original Intellivision right there, made by Mattel, and next to that we've got this Super Video Arcade, the Telegames console, and next to that an Intellivision 2, and then next to that is the INTV Intellivision 3 console. So the original Mattel Intellivision had its own controller that plugged inside the console. You'd have to actually unscrew it and open it up to get that controller out, plug something else in instead. It's kind of a hassle. The Sears Video Arcade has a 9-pin connector, just as the Intellivision 2 controller gets plugged into the exterior of the console, which is nice. This does the same. Now, before I get into the Intellivision controller review, let's take a look back at another classic game controller I reviewed, the Atari 5200 Maker Matrix controller. Now, I did another Wired Up Retro a while back on an Atari 5200 3D printed controller, which had a thumbstick, a thumb pad, and also the keypad right here. So these individual buttons are helpful for the 5200 games. Let me go ahead and unplug this. But yeah, it's pretty compact, and definitely has the two buttons that you need, and start and reset and pause are all there. So anyway, it's a nice little controller, and I reviewed it and I gave it a favorable review before. So yeah, it's definitely cool for the 5200, and some of these newer controllers that are coming out are 3D printed. This one I'm going to show you is, I think it's 3D printed, but I'm going to take a look at it here. Let's go ahead and do a little unboxing. All right, well, I've already bladed this to easily open the package. What have we got in here? All right, controller with some treats. I'll take it. All right, let's get this open. Wow, very nice. Very nice. It's got all three buttons. You can see there's a little bit of jiggle room there. When you're pressing down, that won't matter too much. They're really nice and clicky. DPad is too. Okay. And then you got the keypad. That's going to be nice. And all right, and it's got this nice logo, which I'm really liking that. That's going to be pretty sweet. Very good. Wow, this looks pretty nice quality, really. I'd say this is a very good 3D print job. It's got that nice texture on the surface. I don't know if you're picking up on that, but that's quite quality. Definitely a good quality. All right, so yeah, you get the idea. Nice little controller, and it's got the 9-pin connector for your Intellivision 2 or your Sears Video Arcade. Very good. Okay, so I removed all 6 screws, and let's go ahead and remove the back. I'm going to lay it face down, and we'll go ahead and pry it open here. Okay, it looks like the cord is kind of crimped there, so it doesn't get yanked. If it does get yanked, you won't have a problem. And yeah, there's our nice looking board. Looks like the soldering job is a very good one. And get the clicky buttons here. Definitely a nice looking board. It says here OG Hugo's Retro Mod Shop Intellivision Gamepad. So yeah, here we have a very nice looking board. Great job. I would definitely say this is good quality workmanship. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put it back together, and then we'll get playing some games. So what I'm going to go over right now is not only a review of OG Hugo's Intellivision Gamepad, but a primer on the nuances of disc pad control in Intellivision games. And up here we got Centipede, the Intellivision version. I'm showing off the standard method of disc control for the Intellivision games. And as you can see here, I'm just using the disc pad as I would a D-pad, pressing up, down, left, and right, and all the diagonals. Tends to do a good job for this kind of game. And here we're going to give PacMan a try. And again, just using this disc in a way like you would a D-pad is going to accomplish everything you need to get this game playing very well. It's accurate and I would say pretty effective, although it doesn't feel like a conventional joystick method. It does get the job done. So, you know, through the years there have been people that say, you know, I wish they would have had a joystick on the controller, but yeah, the pad does suffice. And now I've got it now, the DPad controller. So let's go ahead and give PacMan a try with that. And these micro switches in the D-pad are definitely giving me a lot of tactile feedback. Clicking with each direction press, you're pretty sure every time you hit a direction. So in a way, that's nice. It does take a little bit of getting used to, I will say, because I'm not used to playing Intellivision with a little click in the D-pad. This is definitely unique. So now I've switched over to my game Starhawk, which basically has you rotating the disc around and just sliding it around in a very circumferential way. And this game works best that way, although you can use it as a D-pad. D-pad control is just not as good as having that slide around disc. This is auto racing. Also on this game, you kind of want that slide around disc. You're starting, you know, when you're pressing up, he just goes straight. You just slightly turn it to the right to take that right turn, or you could take a heavier turn by moving more to the right side. But yeah, it's definitely subtle controls. I would call it, it feels like analog control, but technically it's not. It's digital controls with a whole lot of different directionals that allow you to get that analog feel. So yeah, these two games I've shown are probably not prime examples of games you want to use that gamepad with. You want to use your actual Intellivision controller to play them. All right, let's move forward. I'm going to get the gamepad out and show a game you kind of want to play with it. So this is Tron Deadly Discs, and this is one of those games where you're going to want to use both the D-pad and the keypad simultaneously. And so you'll be launching your discs by pressing any of the keypad numbers, and it, you know, goes in sequence. If you want to press 2, that shoots up, 4 shoots left, 6 shoots right, and 8 shoots down. And I think you can block by pressing the center button, number 5. So yeah, it does enable very good control. I wouldn't say it's perfect because your man will run around in 8 directions, you know, diagonals plus up, down, left, right. It's not a 16 directional controller. So, but one thing I've learned is that it's such a slight nuance that for me anyway, it really doesn't make that much difference whether you got 8 directions or 16 in this particular game. But yeah, I'm sure if you're an expert at the game, it might make a bit of a difference. So yeah, it's to each his own. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to mention here, and that is that you can't put keypad overlays on this controller. So, you know, I can still play the game pretty easily without a keypad overlay, but yeah, it would have been perfect if those could be connected, but they're not able to be connected. Now here's also another game I kind of like with the D-pad. This is Masters in the Universe for the Intellivision, and definitely I'm feeling like this works quite well. I'm just mainly going just up and down and shooting and pressing both buttons. There's 2-button action here. You can drop some bombs trying to land it on Skeletor down below. And once in a while you can land it on one of the things that's approaching you. This is actually a 2-level game, but I'm not going to get into the second level. So what we have here is Nightstalker. If you own an Intellivision, this is one of the classic games you definitely have to own. Nightstalker, you have to basically go get the gun, and once you're armed, you're going to be looking for that robot that's heading your way. And you'll be shooting some other little creatures here and there as well. kind of like going around corners and hiding. Sometimes is the strategy. So you can see it's got elements of PacMan and other games where you're shooting. It's a shooter. There's a spider. I couldn't quite get him. Maybe I'll get him. Oh, there's a bat. Some sort of bird or bat. Oh, he touched me. All right, well, took a fall, but yeah, I'm back up. All right, there we go. Took care of that spider. So while we're watching this, I do want to mention here that OG Hugo has been making controllers for Atari for at least 5 years. He's moved on to other systems such as the Intellivision, and ultimately he's looking for reliable solutions on various consoles. So definitely a D-pad controller, I think, fills a niche. This is Worm Whopper I'm playing right here. And this game allows not just up and down, but left, right, diagonals. It's definitely a 2-button shooter. I had asked him, should people expect him to continue replenishing the supply of the product on his website or on eBay over a few months or maybe a year or two. And this is a quote from him: "I will continue to make these and make them available for people that need them. I will be placing another printed circuit board order in a week or so before my stock expires, and should be able to have enough for the foreseeable future." So yeah, I'm guesstimating if you're watching this in the year 2025, you could still obtain this, hopefully. And who knows, 26, 27, we'll see. All right. Now what we're watching here is Stadium Mudbugs, and this makes good use of the D-pad. You just press the D-pad in the direction you want the vehicle to go. You've got a accelerator, and when you want to change gears, you let off the accelerator for a split second and tap it again, pressing it down, and you will change gears to the next gear up. If you run into something, it automatically lowers your gear down to the gear you're going to need. You don't have to mess with lowering gears, but you do mess with raising the gears. So yeah, kind of a cool game. Definitely takes a little bit of time to get acclimated to. I had a little fun with this game. This is one of the tougher Intellivision games to find, but I think it's well worth it. Now I did ask Hugo if he was the originator of the circuit board that is being utilized here, and he said he used information found at the Desk Skill Laboratories and Bacteria. So these two particular websites I included in the description below, so you can check those out if that interests you. Now if you're a fan of Space Invaders type games, you could definitely give Demon Attack a shot. Unlike the 2600 game, you can actually hit 2 of the demons with one shot, which is kind of cool. I actually played this a lot on my 2600, but I'm not real familiar with the Intellivision version. Oh yeah, there's the pause button. You didn't have that on the 2600. Pressing 3 and 7 gets you that. And all right, so yeah, I'm kind of feeling that the game controls very well. You do have kind of a clickiness to that D-pad, so with each left and right turn, I'm getting a nice deep click. You know, some people will find that to be awesome, and then there might be some people who say, I feel like I'm really having to press it hard to get that click. And you know, it's not really that hard, but you know, there is a little bit of effort involved to get that clicked in. Now let's get a little bit of Imagic's Nova Blast in. This game is kind of like Defender, and you're noticing I'm going to be going a lot left, right, up, down. I guess diagonals are in use here. I am definitely noticing each click of the micro switches on that D-pad. In all honesty, I kind of like the Intellivision's smooth feeling D-pad better than this, because it just has a better feel for this kind of game where you're swooping around and, you know, diving and then going back up. To me, I just don't think this is the ideal controller for this game. So yeah, some are going to be awesome with it, some are going to be okay, and then this particular one may not be the ideal choice. So anyway, just letting you know, you're probably going to run into a few that you're like, maybe I'm going back to my Intellivision controller. But I think it's nice to have the option of having a D-pad controller, definitely. Now, I did ask Hugo if he had an Intellivision growing up, and he said that the first time he played Intellivision was around 1982 when he was about 8 years old. He told me he had an Atari 2600 and his neighbor had an Intellivision. And he told me that he and his neighbor got together quite often to play that Intellivision, and he always kind of wished there was an easier and better way to play the games. You know, maybe that's why he came up with the idea to produce these. I hope this was an informative video for you guys out there, whether you like these controllers or maybe something new. I definitely think OG Hugo's design is very nice, and it is definitely a good controller to control your Intellivision games of certain types. And I hope you got a lot of information from this video about the Intellivision, something that maybe you didn't know before. If you're a diehard Intellivisionado, I think you're probably knowing all of what I've already told you, but you know, I hope this was an informative episode, at least about the controller options. Okay, so we have an upcoming episode about a lot of different controller designs and things you can do artistically to add to your controllers and make them a little more desirable. That's going to be a fun one, and it has to do with a lot of different game systems, not just, you know, an Intellivision console, but others. You know, this does have an artistic design. I'll probably throw this in the episode, but yeah, I'll have a number of others as well. So definitely stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, definitely give me a subscribe. And if you have questions, I'll certainly be willing to talk to you guys below in the comments if you have questions or concerns in any way about the controller. All right, so I guess that wraps it up for today. I hope you guys keep gaming out there and have a lot of fun. Enjoy your life. Take care.